Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Ragathon. My brothers Yahweh Shemuel Lathun, Bahashim Yahushua, the sisters, priest and officer Ricard, the Israelite School of UPK. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana. As y'all know, we've been dropping this truth since 1969, teaching the truth according to the Bible, letting all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians know that they are the 12 lost tribes that make up the nation of Israel, alright? Okay, so y'all bear with me 1 second, we'll check a few things out, and then we'll get rocking and rolling on here, alright? Give me 1 second. So we up on the book, show we up on there, and then once I do that, then we get it in. Yeah, we up on here also, no sweat. Alright. Most High Christ. Alright. Nah. Okay. Bear with me, I want to just pull this up. Flip to it. I'll flip to this thing, y'all. Bear with me. Okay. Alright, no sweat. So as y'all know, this is the Brotherhood class. Alright. And I just want to drill these Brotherhood scriptures, man. You know what I'm saying? So that way it sink in. It stick with brothers and sisters or what have you. You know what I mean? So we gonna drill these things. You know what I mean? I could drop these joints every week, so you know what I mean? Y'all get with me. Also, you can call into that number as well that's posted up there. Alright? So, as y'all know, we gonna spark it off with Zephaniah. We gonna jump in there real quick because, you know, right now it's definitely, you know, a time for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to unify. You know what I mean? It's definitely, you know, necessary to unify. You know what I mean? Given the circumstances that we living under. You know what I mean? Police brutality, systematic oppression. You know what I mean? All of the racism that we suffer inside of America. You know what I mean? It should be, you know, I gotta turn this music down. Bear with me 1 second. It should be the driving force as to why, you know what I mean, we come together as a people. You know what I mean? It's the only logical thing to do. If you really just sit down and think about it, you know, unification amongst so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians is, you know, absolutely necessary. And it's vital in combating white supremacy. You know what I mean? If we're tired of systematic oppression, if we're tired of the police using deadly force, you know, on our people for unnecessary reasons, If we tired of all the, mistreatment that we suffer here inside of America, us, as a people, then it's definitely time to unify with one another. You know what I mean, and separate from the oppressor in doing so as well. You know what I mean? That separation is not just a physical separation either. That separation that is necessary, that we must undergo, is spiritual, as well as physical, but mostly spiritual. We have to separate from this kingdom spiritually in order to combat it. You know what I mean? As long as we continue to join ourselves to America, we'll continue to fail. We'll continue to suffer all of the mistreatment that we've been suffering for, centuries upon centuries. That will never change. You know what I mean? Until we separate ourselves from this empire. All right. So with that, let me jump straight into it, man. Let me go to what you call. Where we was at with it. Zephaniah 2:1. Y'all know I'm gonna go there. Alright. So let's get it. Alright. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. You know what I mean? Now it's time. Now it's time for us to gather ourselves together. You know what I mean? Gather ourselves together, and we've gathered together on many occasions. We've gathered together and tried to be united under, different banners and under different philosophies and what have you. We try to be united under these things. However, all of them have failed us. You know what I mean? The one place that hasn't failed us, where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have been gathering together, is inside of the ISUPK under Commander General Yan. You understand? We've been gathering together in this body since 1969, you know what I mean, until present day. You understand? So, that's where we must gather together. Everywhere else has failed us as a people. Okay? This body right here, the ISUPK, this body has not failed our people. This body right here has taken, our people off of drugs. You know what I mean? This right here has taken our people out of prison and kept them out of prison. You know what I mean? This body here, you know what I mean, where we unite, where we are truly united and on one accord, has turned, sisters who were absolutely monstrous into something so delicate and wonderful. You understand? In this body, a sister that would call the police on a brother, you know what I mean, a sister that would, try to destroy your brother with her mouth and talk bad about him to the kids and things of that nature, has turned the sister of that type of character into a daughter of Zion. You understand? Something wonderful. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what we need. You know what I mean? We need to change as a people. You know what I mean? We need to change our spirit. We need to get our spirit back right and in order, because right now we have an absolute imbalance first and foremost. You know what I mean? With the family structure. You understand? We have an absolute imbalance to where, this kingdom has uplifted the woman, you know what I mean, and put her in a position of dominance over a black or Hispanic or Native Indian man. You know what I mean? They lift her up, and then the brother is now subjugated under that sister. You understand? So, we have to restore the balance, because the true and proper order, it should be that the brother is over the woman. You know what I mean? No amount of financial, your financial status shouldn't determine your role in a relationship. You know what I mean? Which is what it does here inside of this kingdom. You know what I mean? That's how it's perceived to be. You know what I mean? So, you know, that will never be the case. So we need to gather together. We need to get the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian family. back right in the proper order that the Lord ordained for it to be in. You understand? That's what we need to get right in. You know what I'm saying? We need to get back to who we are as a people, and we'll be able to combat the oppressor properly and effectively, and we will come out victorious. So gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. You know what I mean? It's clear to see that our nation is not a people that's desired. Look at Rayshard Brooks. You know what I mean? Our people are not desired in this kingdom. You know what I mean? They murdered the brother, cold blood. You know what I mean? George Floyd murdered the brother. You know what I mean? It's absolutely acceptable to murder our people and suffer no repercussions for it. And we're expected to want no justice and never say anything about it. You know what I mean? We are not a people that is desired. You know what I mean? Had that have been any other nation, it would have been, the, you know, it wouldn't have had to been a national outcry in order for anything to take place. You know what I mean? In order for charges to be brought up on anyone, had they had suffered, another nation had suffered the same misfortune that we suffer continuously on a daily basis in this kingdom. You know what I mean? But let's read on. Before the decree bring forth, before the day passes a chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. You know what I mean? Like, you go into the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, it tells us, you know what I'm saying, when we stand with the Most High fight against all of our enemies. You know what I mean? No one will be able to prosper against us. You know what I mean? We will receive justice for anything that happens to us. You know what I mean? Because the Lord gonna hold us down for it. All right. But when we stand in opposition to the Most High, when we stand with the oppressor, Shalakia, when we stand with the oppressor and against the Most High, by doing so, now the Lord is not with us. You know what I'm saying? When we stand against the Most High, that angers the Lord. You know what I mean? How do we stand against the Most High? We stand against the Most High when when we go to the Christian church, when we go to the Muslim mosque, we standing against the Most High. You know what I mean? When we intertwine ourselves with the culture of this kingdom, you know what I mean? When we get caught up in the birthdays and the holidays, the Thanksgiving, the July 4th, and you setting off the fireworks or what have you, you sparking the grill. You know what I mean? When we get caught up in this kingdom, that's when the Lord is angered. You know what I mean? And when the Lord is angry at us, you know what I mean, we suffer a great deal. You know what I mean? We suffer being a people that are in poverty. We suffer being a people that are, oppressed by our enemies. You know what I mean? That can be murdered by any nation of people on the face of the earth without there being any problem with it. You know what I mean? That's what we become, because the Most High don't look at, He ain't watching after us at that point. You know what I mean? Why would you watch after someone that's disloyal to you? You know what I mean? We've been absolutely disloyal sons and daughters to the Most High. You know what I mean? So that the Lord is not watching out for us at that point. Alright? So with that being said, let's read on. Let me see. Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you, right? Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. You know what I mean? The day of the Lord's anger, you know what I mean, being, when the Lord destroys this kingdom completely. You know what I mean? When Christ and the angels return, that the Lord, Salakia, y'all bear with me 1 second. Let me me read that part one more time. Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. That's what like I said. You know what I mean? That's when Christ and the angels return during the Third World War and make quick work of our oppressors. You know what I mean? Make quick work of all the nations and completely and utterly destroy them. You know what I mean? In the midst of all of that, there's going to be brothers and sisters that get called up on them chariots. You know what I'm saying? And they won't have to suffer the hell. You know what I mean? The hellfire that Christ and the angels come and they bring with them chariots to destroy this kingdom. Those brothers and sisters will be caught up on them chariots and they'll dwell in safety while everyone else is in absolute danger and without any way to defend and protect themselves. You know what I mean? But then there will be other brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, which is such an unfortunate thing that will, get caught up in the midst of it because they not gonna get called up on them chariots. You understand? So, let me see. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth. Salakia. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth. Seek ye the Lord, all the meek of the earth. You know what I mean? If you humble yourself, man, if you listen, you're not going to be able to find the Most High. You out here thinking that you know every goddamn thing. We don't know everything, man. If we did know everything, then we wouldn't be in, we wouldn't be in the hell that we in right now. You know what I mean? If we knew everything, the police wouldn't be able to murder us and get away with it. You know what I mean? If we knew every goddamn thing. But we don't. We have to understand that we know nothing. You know what I mean? And it ain't because we're so unintelligent, because we are the most intelligent people on this earth. But the reason why we don't know anything is because the people that are supposed to have been leading us have led us the wrong way. You know what I mean? And we've grown up in those ways. We've grown up in them. We've gotten accustomed to them. You know what I mean? And then now they're almost like a second nature. You know what I mean? And in order to receive the truth of the Most High, you're going to have to be able to break that. You know what I mean? Which is a very difficult thing to do once you've already been accustomed to something. You know what I mean? When you've already been accustomed to a certain lifestyle, it's hard to make a transition, especially the longer that you've been living that lifestyle. It's more of a difficult task for you to separate from it. You understand? Because you've grown so fond of it. You've grown so, what do you call attached. You know what I mean? You come attached to it. Regardless of, receiving the truth, some brothers and sisters, they'll never be able to let go of, what they've been doing and, how they've been living their lives. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's over them, you know what I mean? In order to make them do those type of things, regardless of the information that they receive, of it being, whatever it is that is, how you say, whatever it is that makes it something that should not be celebrated. You understand? Like, when you find out the truth about Christmas, you find out, it's about Nimrod and all of that, and you start to delve into the history, and you find out what exactly these things are about. Or you take Thanksgiving, for example, and you find out Thanksgiving is about the slaughter of the Native American Indians, and or what have you. Yet and still, we still celebrate it and say, it's a time where the family gathered together. You know what I'm saying? If it was really about the family gathering together, we'd do it on another day. But it's not about that. It's about being you. It's the reason why we still do it on that day is because Master, he made us celebrate that holiday. On that day, he told you to get together with your family. He said it's okay to come together with your family on that day, and that's why we do it. So regardless of what we know about it, understand, we won't separate from it, and that's how much of a spiritual yoke that Master got on us. You know what I'm saying? About the 4th of July, you realize that our people was enslaved. You know what I mean? When America got their freedom from Great Britain, you know what I mean? And yet and still, we out here celebrating the 4th of July with the oppressor like it's something that pertains to us, when actually it has nothing to do with us. And to celebrate it is nigh unto traitorous. You know what I mean? Like to celebrate someone else's freedom, to celebrate not just someone else's freedom, but to celebrate a nation of people's freedom that absolutely hate us, destroyed us, enslaved us. You know what I mean? How would we celebrate the freedom of a nation that enslaved us? You know what I mean? And we're slaves. And you know what I mean? Like that doesn't make any sense. But regardless of that not making any sense, because of how attached we've grown to it, we will never let it go. Some of us will never let that thing go. You understand? The only way you can truly let it go is if you become meek, if you humble yourself, you know what I mean, and you realize that you've been told a lie by the Christian church. You know what I mean? I don't know anything because the Christian church has lied to me. You know what I mean? Here I am thinking Christmas is about Christ's, birthday. You know what I mean? The birth of Christ. You know what I mean? Hey, that's what I was thinking the whole time. But now I gotta sit back. I don't know anything because everything I've been told is a lie. You know what I'm saying? So if we could humble ourselves like that and understand that we've been told nothing but lies over and over again just to get the money out of our pockets, the little bit of money that we do have by these merciless, incompassionate so-called black and Hispanic leaders, then we be able to make some progress toward finding out the truth according to the Most High. You understand? Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth. All right? Which have wrought his judgment. All right? Which have wrought his judgment. You know what I mean? Like, we could provoke. Well, then I want to read that. Let me see. Shalakia. Yeah, that's no sweat. Yeah, we'll bust it down. Seek ye, hold on. Which have wrought his judgment, seek righteousness. Okay? Seek righteousness. Alright? The brothers, like, listen, you know what I mean? That's the type of thing that provoked the Most High. That type of thing right there provoked the Most High, and it makes the Lord wanna really, bring, he want to bring this kingdom to its knees. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of thing that make the Lord want to bring this kingdom to the knees. When new brothers and sisters, and you know what I mean, they come and they humble themselves down and they find out the truth of the Most High and things like that, and they come back and they start putting on they culture, you know what I mean, and they wearing their identity regardless of who thinks you in a cult, regardless of who thinks you're evil and you're wicked and you're satanic and things of that nature. You know what I mean? In spite of all of the, in spite of all of the, how do you call that, discouragement and peer pressure to fall back into the world, you know what I mean? In spite of all that, brothers and sisters come and they find the truth and they hold it and never let it go. You know what I'm saying? And that type of thing right there, that thing provokes the Most High and make him want to, deliver us, or, make him want to deliver us overnight. Let all of our people start coming back to the Most High and really start and finding out, you know what I mean, who they are and how we've been lied to, and you know what I mean, by these traitors who profess themselves to be our leaders. You know what I mean? And how we've been, manipulated into believing the philosophy of our oppressor. You know what I mean? The slave master. But let's read on though. Seek meekness. Seek meekness. You understand? Seek meekness. So you should want to humble yourself. You know what I mean? In order to find out, that's what you should seek. You should seek meekness. You know what I mean? Don't come through like you know every goddamn thing and pop in your mouth 25-8. You know what I mean? That's not a good look. You know what I mean? You want to come through respectable and humble. You know what I mean? Seek meekness. Put on your all black. You understand? I know who the hell is this brother telling me what I can and cannot wear? You know what I mean? Yes, I am telling you what you can and cannot wear. Seek meekness. You understand? That's what you should do. Seek meekness. Humble yourself, brother. You know what I mean? Seek meekness. Put on all black for 90 days. Shut your mouth. and soldier up for this thing. All right, straight like that. Seek meekness, sister. Cover your head. Who is this? Who is he think he is telling me to cover my head and wear that dress too when you come to class? Salakia. What? He trying to tell me what I can to wear a dress and cover my head? Who does this cat think he is? You know what I mean? We the priests of the Lord, sis. You understand? The Lord wants you to wear that dress and He wants you to cover your head. You know, I know because I said so. And you know what I mean? I'm the voice of the Lord right now. All right? So that's how that goes. You understand? Seek meekness. Okay? Let's read on. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. And it may be that ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. You know what I mean? You come up in here and you get told to wear black for 90 days and you know what I mean, come through and what have you, and you take your notes and you know what I mean, you asking your questions and all of that. Salakia. You where was that? Where was I? Yeah, you coming through, you taking your notes and all of that, you know what I mean? You wearing your all black, you wearing your dress, you got your head covered, you know what I mean? You following the protocols. You're not bringing drugs or weapons to the door, or nothing like that. We ain't gotta keep checking you, or what have you. You know what I mean? You seeking to change yourself. You know what I mean? You seeking to change yourself. You giving these brothers here a shot to truly show you that we the priests and prophets of the Most High, and that by listening and following us, you will live a better life for it, without question to it. Okay? So, with that, let's read on. It may be ye shall be hidden in the day of the Lord's anger, and you shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Once again, being hid in the day of the Lord's anger, you know what I mean? That's when, you know what I mean, that sky crack open, man. And it get real out here. You know what I mean? What is it called? Divine intervention. Okay? Bear with me 1 second, alright? Shalom, sister. Come on, sir. Come on, sir. Moses. Alright. Most High Christ. Come on, sir. Um, it's looking up. They said, you know, the cases are down. I don't know if I told you prior that they said that they were gonna go based off of the public health records. So you know, it was fluctuating for a second, but as of right now, it's saying that the coronavirus cases have been going down, and the governor is set to announce whether you know the next phase will begin next week. At which point I could notify you, sir. Come on, come on, sir. Oh yeah, I'm solid, sir. Teaching the class. Come on, sir. All right, know what I'm saying? Since we could, all right, know what I'm saying? All right, Salagi, you know what I'm saying? All right, so we back with it. Oh sweat. All right. So where was I at? Salaki. Okay. All right, Most High Christ. Let me get back right there real quick. Uh, it may be ye shall be hidden the day of the Lord's anger. Salaki, be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? You be hid in the day of the Lord's anger. Once again, that's, you know, when Christ and the angels come and they deliver the judgment onto this kingdom. You understand? They come and deliver the judgment onto this kingdom. As I said previously, you have certain brothers and sisters that will make it onto those chariots. Okay? So they're going to make it on them chariots and they will be hid from the destruction. They will be protected by the Most High and Christ and the angels of the Lord. All right? So, with that being said, let me see. Oh, yeah. No sweat. You know what I mean? Let's drop that. Let's go to Psalms. I think I kind of jumped ahead. It's no sweat. We can still do that. It's no sweat. Psalm 133 and 1. Alright, so we had Psalms 133 and 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And once again, this is what we was talking about. You know what I mean? Unification amongst so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know what I mean? And how vital it is right now. You know what I mean? Like if you are so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, then this should be the time that you definitely want to unite with your brothers, man. Like we can go out here and we can, do all sort of mischievous acts or what have you in rebellion to the kingdom that we're currently in. But, at the end of the day, all of that is non-productive. You know what I'm saying? We can go out here and we could just, use our aggression. And we could use our aggression and use it recklessly. You know what I mean? Without any type of, focus. You know what I mean? It's like but that's like I said, you know what I mean? Once again, that's a, it does something, but it's not, precision. You understand? Like, this is an enemy that we are going to need to utilize precision with. You know what I mean? You could go to the field with a 9, you know what I mean? And because you got that 9 on you, you know what I mean? You got more of a capacity so you could bust off more rounds and you ain't really worried about accuracy. You're just trying to bust off rounds in a general direction, you know what I mean, to get them off you or what have you. And then hopefully some of them things connect. You know what I understand? So it ain't really about precision at that point. You know what I mean? Or then, you know what I mean, you could have what you call on it. You can have a brother that's a sniper. You know what I mean? You got a brother that's a sniper in the cut, and he ain't just out there spraying up the block reckless. He's in there and he's taking out, the one that's in charge. He's cutting the head off the snake. You understand? He's a sniper. He's in the cut. He's laying low. He has precision. You know what I mean? He busts off, and when he let that thing go, it's going to connect with the target. You know what I mean? He has someone that is being targeted. You know what I mean? And he hits his mark. You know what I mean? With precision. That's that's the type of that's how when we unify in order, decently and in order, then that's what we'll start to see. We'll start to proceed. We'll start to see that our attacks on this kingdom, not physical attacks, but just our us coming together, is attacking America. Because right now they thrive off of us being divided. You know what I mean? That's their whole divide and conquer strategy. You know what I mean? They want us to be separated from each other and join ourselves to them. Because then at that point now, I could tell you, to hate the brother that's right next to you and you'll do it. You know what I mean? Because you've given me your allegiance. You understand? But right here, the unity, man. The only place that we will unify, you know what I mean? Like I said before, is nowhere other than the UPK. That's the only way we can have, precision. That's the only way we can combat the enemy with precision. You know what I mean? That's exactly what is needed. We need a precision strike on the enemy. You know what I mean? And us joining in the UPK, unifying, you know what I mean? That in this body, that is the precision strike. You know what I mean? Because now, the police can't pull us over, man. You know what I mean? They won't have a reason to pull you over. You understand? There's no reason to pull us over. You know why? Because that's them Israelites. Nah, leave them cats alone, man. You know what I'm saying? They don't mess with nobody. They don't hurt nobody. You can't do nothing to them. If you do, they gonna know we tripping because these cats never do anything. You know what I'm saying? We can't find no drugs on him. We can't say he had no drugs on him. We can't say he had marijuana in the car. We can't say he had crack in the car. We can't say he was selling drugs. We can't say he was, pimping shorties out the back of the truck. We can't say he was buying a prostitute. We can't say he was doing anything. We can't say he has warrants. So what can we do to, how can we kill this man and get off with it scot free? There's nothing you can do. You can't do anything to us at that point. We cannot be touched because the Lord put his spirit on us. You know what I mean? And the Lord is watching over these brothers and sisters in the UPK. You know what I mean? So our enemy will never be able to successfully destroy us at that point. You know what I mean? Once we start to really come together under the banner or that the Lord set up for us to gravitate towards, which is the UPK. All right, and that's the only place we will ever see unity. You know what I mean? You don't believe in that you don't believe this is the only place that you would truly see unity among so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Come to one of the high holy days. Get down to one of the high holy days and you will see. You understand? You will definitely see Salakia. Get down to one of the high holy days and you will see what unity looks like. You understand? We could stay together from sundown, sun up, sundown, and everything will be smooth and we be chilling. There ain't gonna be no fighting, no arguing, no, nothing going on other than brotherhood and sisterhood and unity amongst our people, man. That's what it will be. All day, every day, and it won't be anything but that. All right? Let me see. That's it on that one. Okay. That's it on that one. Y'all know I'm gonna bust this down. Got to. These. Let me check. Let me check the what you call real quick. Oh, hey, man. Let me see how that's looking out in these streets. Hold up, real quick. Matter of fact. Also, oh, snap. I might have clicked on somebody. Y'all bear with me. I had actually accidentally clipped the Uber conference. You know what I mean? Salaki. Y'all bear with me 1 second. I'm going to get that thing back jumping, alright? Alright. Clip the Uber conference. Good night. Alright, so that's up now. Salaki. Alright. Turn it down just a little bit. Alright. And okay. No sweat, no sweat. Alright. Most High Christ. So let's get it. Alright, we back. I just wanted to check something out real quick, alright? Let's get back to it though. Salakia. Where were we? Zechariah. That's where we was at, right? Zechariah 9 and 13. Okay. Alright, no sweat. Alright. Be with me 1 second. So Zechariah 9 and 13, alright? We gonna bust this down. Before I go here, right? Let me go to Jeremiah 31 and 31. Okay. Salakia. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come. Right? So, behold, the days come. So, this is a foretelling, meaning what? This is a biblical prophecy. All right? Saith the Lord. Now, this is a biblical prophecy that's being said from the, this is coming straight from the Most High. All right? That I will make a new covenant. You know what I mean? So, like, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. All right? What the Lord said, I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. Okay? With the house of Israel. Okay, I'm gonna get to that later, but bear with me 1 second. He's gonna make a new covenant. So there was a covenant prior to this new one that he was going to make. All right, and the house of Judah. All right, so now you seeing the distinction between Israel and Judah. All right, Israel and Judah are both from the same nation. However, at one point in time, you had a northern kingdom and you had a southern kingdom, and the northern kingdom could be identified by the northern kingdom. You could call the northern kingdom Israel, you know what I'm saying, or Ephraim, you know what I mean, and you would be how do you say that? Not encompassing, not encompassing. It would be inclusive of all of the Hispanic and Native Indian tribes. Okay, so when you say Israel or Ephraim, you know what I mean, in a certain context, it could be referring to, it could be inclusive of all of the Hispanic and Native Indian tribes. And then also when you hear Judah, okay, Judah could just be talking about the tribe of Judah, but in this particular context, Judah is referring to the southern kingdom. Like I told you, there was a northern and a southern kingdom. Ephraim was the head of the northern kingdom. Judah was the head of the southern kingdom. Okay, so Judah was the head of the southern kingdom. The southern kingdom was inclusive of uh, so-called blacks, West Indians, and Haitians. Okay, so that's who Judah was over in the southern kingdom. You know what I mean? And the Lord said that he was going to make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Okay? So meaning the northern and the southern kingdom, you know what I mean? That's what it's talking about, but realistically just talking about so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. All right? Just another way to put it. All right? Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. So this is talking about the old covenant that was made when we was in Egypt. All right, he said that was made with our forefathers, meaning our forefathers who we descend from. All right. Um, when I took them by the hand, meaning the Lord took us by the hand, meaning that He led us. All right, you take a child by the hand, you know what I'm saying, and you walk with them, and you know what I mean. It's so you can guide them where they're supposed to go. All right, he said, I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. To bring them out of the land of Egypt, meaning this is when we was in Egypt and we was in captivity. We was in bondage, you know what I mean, under the Ethiopians. You know what I'm saying? You read the book of Exodus and things like that, you'll check it out and you'll see, you know what I mean, the type of captivity that we was in. We was in a hard bondage, quite similar to the slavery, the bondage that we are in today. All right? You know what I'm saying? The Lord took us out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. The covenant they break. You know what I'm saying? They started making what was it? The golden calf, and they started worshiping it and doing all type of, acts against the Most High, just going off completely. We was backsliding. All right. You know what I mean? He said, oh, my covenant they break, although I wasn't husband unto them, saith the Lord. Okay, although I wasn't husband unto them, saith the Lord. This is why you can't take everything literal. You know what I mean? A cat will see this and, you know what I mean, he's absolutely, disgusted because he thinks this is something homosexual. You know what I mean? You got to get your mind out. You got to shake the Christianity off your mind when you read things. And you got to read the scriptures like it's, you got to read the scriptures like it was written by our forefathers. You know what I mean? Because our people are spiritual people, and the way that we communicate reflects that. You understand? So when we speak things, you can't just take it in a literal. The Lord is using to explain how He was the one that was instructing us and guiding us. You know what I mean, and protecting us. You know what I mean? He said, although I was an husband unto him, I mean, although I protected him, although I gave him the instruction, although I gave him the guidance, you know what I mean? Although I watched out for him, you know what I mean? They still broke my covenant. They still broke the oath that they made with me. All right? They didn't keep their word. All right? But this shall be the covenant. All right? So this is going to be the agreement, right? That I will make with the house of Israel after those days. So now this shall be the covenant that he's going to make with the house of Israel. So now this is going over, the criteria for the covenant was, that is Salakia, that is being prophesied. Okay. After those days, saith the Lord, right? I will put my law in their inward parts. I will put my law in their inward parts. Okay, so meaning what? Let me just read on a little. In their inward parts, and write it in their hearts. All right. So he said he gonna put the law in our inward parts and write it in our hearts. Meaning your heart is your mind. You know what I'm saying? So now, meaning what? That we don't have to have, because at one point in time, we did have, you know, we did have the so-called Haitians. You know what I mean? During the time of Moses was designated to enforce the law. You know what I mean? And they would execute the judgment on those who broke the law, right? So they would execute the judgment on those who broke the law, meaning brothers and sisters that broke the law, or what have you, whatever way they broke it, they would do that, okay? But now, you know what I mean, with this new covenant that the Lord was going to make with us, none of that would be necessary, okay? That would be unnecessary, because the Lord was going to write it in our hearts, and he was. Let me check that one more time. He was going to put the law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts. All right, and we was going to write it in our hearts. You know what I mean? So now nobody's making us keep the law right now. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's putting a gun to your head and saying, "Hey man, you did what? What did you do now?" Nobody's doing that. You know what I mean? Every brother and sister that comes into this truth is at their own accord. You know what I'm saying? It's because they decided to come into the truth, and that's what happened. The Lord called them. They heard that, and they came and they followed it. You understand? That's how that happens. You know what I mean? Nobody makes a brother or sister stop eating pork, crab, shrimp, or lobster physically. You know what I mean? Meaning it's not something that's an involuntary thing. This is absolutely voluntary. You do it at your own will, and you maintain it, and you continue to do it. Why? Because the law is written in your inward parts and in your heart. You know what I'm saying? It's in your mind now. You know what I'm saying? So now before you do something, let's say you go get something at the store, and you might be suspicious of the ingredients that are used in it. You look at it, and then you find out that it has pork in it in the back of the ingredients, and then you put it back. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Nobody made you do that, but you didn't want to consume that pork because you know that's against the Lord. You know what I mean? And once again, the Lord said He was going to put that in our inward parts. You know what I mean? He was going to write the law in our hearts, meaning in our minds. You know what I mean? So that's how that goes. You know what I mean? The law is being written in our mind. Okay? And write it in their hearts, and I will, Salaki, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. Salaki, the Lord will be our power. You know what I mean? The Lord will be, and when we start to come back to the Most High, that's when the Lord, when you look at the word power, you know what I mean? The word power is translated to, so I'm sitting there saying the damn translation. The word God is translated to power, okay? So, you know what I mean? The Lord said He would be our power. The Lord is going to be our strength. You know what I mean? Our strength ain't in, picking up no gun and going to take out our slave master and our oppressor. That's not our power. Our power is coming back to the Most High. If you so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, that's where your power is. And coming back to the Lord And when we come back to the Most High, the Lord will be our power. You know what I mean? Christians talk about the blood of Jesus all the time and how is they protected and things of that nature. But at the same time, they they're not protected. You understand? It's clear to see. You know what I mean? The Lord is not with the Christian church. The Lord ain't with them because you can go into the Christian church and you can be molested inside of that Christian church. You know what I mean? It's a high probability that you will be molested in that Christian church. So that's how you know the Lord is not with them in that church, man. You know what I mean? They stealing money out the Christian church. They being found out or what have you. You know what I mean? So the Lord will be our power, though. You know what I'm saying? The Lord gonna be our power. That's why we got to come back to the Most High. You know what I mean? Because what I mean. None of the leaders that we currently acknowledge, they don't have the power to create a police reform. There is no power for them. They don't have any power to enact any type of police reform. Okay, none at all. You know what I mean? And police reform is not the solution at all. Anyway, you know what I mean? Police reform is not the solution as long as we are being policed by a nation of people that are absolutely racist and hateful against us. You know what I mean? We will continue to die. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not a funny thing at all, but it's just the thought of it. It's like to think that we wouldn't die. You know what I mean? When someone who absolutely hates us polices over us. You know what I mean? There was no such thing as police reform. There will be no police reform at all. You know what I mean? The only way you can reform the police is to get rid of the police, period. You know what I mean? Because when the police go out into our neighborhoods, the police are not going out into our neighborhoods to protect us. You know what I mean? Just like with anything. If just from you being outside or anything like that, when you out there, you know what I mean? If somebody's moving suspect, you got to be on it. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch it. You know what I mean? Somebody's doing something crazy or anything like that. There's tension between you and this cat. Any move that he makes or what have you, you got to be on it. You know what I mean? And you rightfully so, especially when you with your team and all of that, because you got to protect each other. Realistically, you out there to protect you, protecting yourself when you're out there. And that's the same thing that the police do. All the police do when they go out and they patrol the streets is make sure that they're safe. The gun on their hip is not to make sure you're safe. The gun on their hip, the taser that they have, is to make sure that they're safe. The bulletproof vest on their chest is to make sure that they're safe when they're out there. So, by no means are they out there with a gun on their hip and a vest on their chest to protect and serve the black community. You know what I mean? And we can never expect them to change from doing that. You know what I mean? We can never expect them to, we will start protecting and serving black people today. That will never be the case. The only solution is for there to be no police over us that hate us. You know what I mean? We have to have our own police system. You know what I mean? We have to have our own police force, Salakia. You know what I mean? Now we got our own police force. You know what I mean? We will have compassion on one another because, we all, we are the same people. You know what I mean? There's no personal grudge or personal hatred that one brother would have toward another. You know what I mean? And then furthermore, you know what I mean? Before we even get a police system, the only policing that we need to do right now is to police our own actions. You know what I mean? And that's what's being said right here. Where it say, let me see, Salakia. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write in their heart. Oh, and they shall be my people. We come back to the Most High. Right now, we the people of our oppressor. We masters right now. You know what I mean? Because we do everything that master tell us to do. You know what I mean? That's why. Okay? But when we come back to the Most High, now the Most High will acknowledge us as being His people again. Okay? Da-da-da. Let's see if I want to read more. That's it on that one. Let me go to another one. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna get this other one. I believe it's here. Not if it's not 37, it's 33. So bear with me 1 quick second. I just want to get this other scripture and then I'll go to Zechariah. All right. 37. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Here we go. Right here. All right. Okay. I'm trying to think if I should read this all. Ezekiel 37. All right, we're gonna go there. Bear with me 1 second. No, I'm gonna drop down to it. I'm gonna just drop down to 15. You know what I mean? For time's sake, I'm gonna drop down to 15. Let's get it. This is Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, and the 15th verse. Okay, what's going on here? The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, all right, moreover, thou son of man, you know what I mean? This is talking about, so the Lord is talking to Ezekiel. He say, thou son of man. Son of man just meaning you come from a man, just like New York cats say son. They call everybody son. All right. Take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah. So take thee one stick and write upon it for Judah, and for the children of Israel, his companions. Right? As we discussed before, Judah being who? Judah being the southern kingdom. All right? Referring to the southern kingdom, nonetheless, we are one nation of people. And then Israel referring to the northern kingdom. All right? Take thee one stick and write upon it. For Judah and take thee, and Salakia. For Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write upon it. For Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. All right, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. All right, so this is talking about so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right, and join them one to another into one stick. All right, and join them one to another into one stick. All right. Now, what is this talking about? You know what I'm saying? We actually do this. You know what I mean? The coronavirus disrupts things a little bit. However, you know what I mean? On good night. For the most part, when we hit them street corners, you see that 12 tribe sign that we have erected up there. When we go out and we drop that truth, and when you look at that, it's made of that wood. And what we do, we put the 12 tribes that make up the nation of Israel on there. We show what we are currently, how we currently identify ourselves, the names that we currently identify ourselves with today, and then we show how they correlate with the biblical names of the tribes that make up the nation of Israel. So you'll see Judah, and then you see Judah, and you'll see Judah correlates with the Negroes, and then you'll see Ephraim, and then you'll see Ephraim correlates with the so-called Puerto Ricans. You see Levi, and then you see Levi correlates with the so-called Haitians. You see what I'm saying? And join them to get together, and join them one to another into one stick. Shalakia. and they shall become one in thine hand. All right. And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus saith the Most High Power. Salaki, thus saith the Lord God. That's what that means. Behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his fellows, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and will make them one stick, and they shall be one in mine hand. All right. So meaning he was going to take the tribes that were, once in the northern kingdom and the tribes that were once in the southern kingdom. You know what I mean? Meaning the ones that were so-called Hispanics and Native Indians, and then so-called blacks, West Indians, and Haitians. You know what I mean? The Lord was going to take both of them tribes, and he said he was going to put them in his hand together. Meaning we going to come and we just going to be one nation of people. All right? We will be absolutely unified. There will be no division amongst us. All right? And where we going to do that, and the Lord said in his hand. You understand? So, not in Allah's hand, not in Caesar Borgia's hand, but in his hand. All right? Meaning what? That's the only place we will unify. You know what I mean? With absolute harmony. Okay, so let me see. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in my hand. Salaki. And join them one to another, and they shall into Salaki. Good night. And join them one to another into one stick, and they shall become one in thine hand. Alright? And when the children of thy people shall speak unto thee, saying, Wilt thou not show us what thou meanest by these? Say unto them, Thus saith the Lord. Oh, Salaki, I just read that. Good night. 20, that's where I was at. Salaki. Let me take these joints off. A little dog up in this piece. And the sticks whereon thou writest shall be in thine hand before their eyes. Behold, say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. You know what I mean? So that's eventually what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Take them from amongst the heathen. Who are the heathen? The heathen are just talking about anybody that's not an Israelite. You know what I mean? So your Europeans, your Asians, your Japanese, your Africans, Ethiopians, all of that. You know what I mean? All of those are heathens. You know, everybody that we are scattered amongst. You know what I'm saying? Our people are scattered all over the earth amongst the heathen. Amongst the non-Israelites. And the Lord is going to gather us. He's going to gather us together. And we will be gathered together. And then eventually, at a point in time, we will obtain our own land. You know what I mean? That the Lord determined for us to be on. All right? Let's read on. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. All right. So he said he gonna make us one nation. Like I said, you know what I mean. No more. Well, I'm getting ahead a little bit. But he said he gonna make us one nation. You know what I mean. Meaning we all gonna be united on one accord in one body. You know what I'm saying. There's not going to be multiple places where we all, in and stuff like that. But we will all be in one body. We're all going to be in one nation, under one banner, on one accord. One West. Salaki. Well, let's read on. Alright. And say unto them, Thus saith the Lord. Oh no, I'll drop down a little bit. Salaki, y'all. Bear with me. Don't mess. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. All right? And then we're going to be one king that's king to us all. You know what I mean? There's going to be one commander-in-chief. You know what I mean? And his name ain't going to be Donald Trump. All right? It ain't going to be Joe Biden. It's not going to be Donald Trump. But we're going to have one king. and you know what I mean, one king and one king to us all. You know what I mean? We're not gonna have the king of the north and the south. You know what I mean? But we're going to have one king, and that king is going to be a black man by the name of Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Yahweh Shai Mashiach in the Hebrew. You know what I mean? The king of all Israel. Okay? Um, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king of all, and they shall be no more two nations. And they shall be no more two nations, like we said. You know what I mean? There will be no more northern or southern kingdom. You know what I mean? They're only going to be one nation. All right? And it's just going to be the nation of Israel under one king, Yahweh Shai. All right? And that's it. Okay? Neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. Like I said, like I just said, they're not going to be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. You know what I mean? Like, and this goes to show you, even even when we had our own kingdoms and we had division in our own kingdoms, you know what I'm saying? We had a king for the north and a king for the south. You know what I mean? That right there, that didn't work. So what makes us think that we're going to be able to successfully unify as a people if you Christian and he's what is it? Islamic. He practices the Islamic faith or what have you. You know, what makes us think that we can actually come together on one accord? You know what I mean? The scriptures say, well, matter of fact, I'm going to go to that next, okay? Let me see. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols. So we ain't going to defile ourselves with anymore with the idols. But let me get to this thing of detestable things, any of their transgressions. Let me get this one joint, all right? Let me grab this real fast. We're going to go to Matthew 3 and 25. What's going on here? 3 and... Not Matthew 3 and 25. Mark 3 and 25. Salakia. Let's go to Mark 3 and 25. Okay. Mark chapter 3 and verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And that's why that's why when we was ruling in that type, and when we had that type of governmental structure that we was keeping, where you had the northern kingdom and you had the southern kingdom, that's why we were unable to successfully stay unified as a people, because it say, like it say, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. That's just the fact of it all, that a kingdom will not be able to stand like that. You know what I mean? If you functioning, you know, in your own way, and this other nation is functioning in a different way, Salakia, it'll never be able to happen. That unity will never be able to happen. But let's read on. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And then if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. So, you know what I mean? Like in a house, that's talking about us as a nation of people, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. If a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. You can't have this cat, you know, disagreeing. You can't have somebody that disagrees with abortion and someone that's pro-abortion, and then someone that's, you know, I just heard a new term called pro-life. You understand? You know what I mean? Which is absolutely, you know, it puzzles me how someone that is, anyway, that's another subject. That's another subject. But pro-life, you got someone that's, for reproductive rights in women, and then you have someone that's so-called pro-life. You know what I mean? That will not you're not gonna be able to stand because you always gonna have those doctrinal differences. You understand? You can't have someone that's for homosexuality and then someone that's against it because once again you'll have those doctrinal differences, and you won't be able to truthfully be in sync with each other like you should be. Okay. Um, So likewise, you know what I mean, we can't be caught up in these different spiritual systems, and we can't be caught up in these different doctrines and expect that we will be able to successfully unify. You know what I mean? We have to come to an understanding as to who we are. You know what I mean? We got to come to an understanding as to what doctrine that we need to abide by. You know what I'm saying? And that should be the first form of what should actually be done. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know what I mean, I think, you know what I mean, UPK has already proven. You understand? You know what I mean? So many different cats out there, you know what I mean, who are respected in different walks of life or what have you, have came across the path of the UPK and have been proven to be, you know, unintelligent, to say the least. You understand? And what they believe in. You know what I'm saying? And have been proven wrong. You know, understand? On many occasions, and from many different spiritual systems, and they've all been crushed by the God of Israel. You understand? All of them. Okay. Let's go to another one real quick. Y'all bear with me real quick. Oh, Salaki. Let's go to Amos 3 and 3. We're gonna go to Amos 3 and 3. All right. Let's get that. Hmm? Amos chapter 3 and verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? You know what I mean? Like we won't be able to walk together, meaning we won't be able to successfully unify if we're not agreed, meaning that we're not on one accord. You know what I mean? So the question is being posed here, but realistically, it's a rhetorical question. You know what I mean? Can two walk together lest they be agreed? You know what I mean? Of course, the answer is no. You know what I'm saying? You can't walk together unless you be agreed. You know what I'm saying? Meaning you're not going to be fully in sync unless you are agreed. You know what I'm saying? If one person is living an adverse life and another person is living an adverse life, no, you won't be on one accord. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we all be brothers and sisters or what have you like that? You know what I mean? And yeah, we can all be that. You know what I mean? We can all acknowledge each other as brother and sister or what have you. But to really be that force, that combats white supremacy, it's going to take a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to be on that one accord. You know what I mean? We will have to be on one accord, and that will be it. You understand? That's going to be it. There will be no other way for us to successfully combat our oppressor. You know what I mean? Other than us being on one accord. You know what I'm saying? Everybody acknowledging that homosexuality is wrong. Everyone acknowledging that abortion is wrong. Everyone acknowledging that we need a dietary law that we must abide by, and that the Bible provides an excellent uh, dietary law that we should all abide by. You know what I mean? We have to get things in order. You know what I mean? Down to who, you know what I mean, we deal with, as far as, you know, who we marry and things of that nature. You know, just all the different aspects of life and the rules that should govern them. You know what I mean? What we should adhere to. We do need structure as a people. If we don't have structure, then we'll just be lawless and chaotic, and we'll never be able to assemble properly. And furthermore, we'll always be susceptible to an enemy that is structured, that is, on that one accord. You know what I mean? We always be susceptible to somebody that adheres to structure. You know what I mean? And they have one, versus us who doesn't have one. If we don't have structure, okay? So let me see. Was that it? Yeah, that's it on that. That's it on that. Okay. Um, let's see. What else I want to go to? Salakia. Save that one to the end. Go to Ephesians 2. I'll go to Ephesians 4 and 4. Ephesians 4 and 4. Alright. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 4. There is one body. Once again, one body. There's only one body, man. You know what I mean? Now, you know what I'm saying? Once you start to come to the realization, you come to the realization that, okay, yeah, what these Israelite cats is talking about, this thing is 100. This joint is the truth. I could really understand what they talking about and where they coming from with what they're saying. Salakia. Once that's the case, then you get into a whole nother world. And when you come to that world, now you start to see that there's multiple, not multiple, there's a whole collage of so-called, of so-called organizations that are a part of the body of the Most High. You know what I mean? That's what you come to. You come to that, and then you say, man, well, why are there so many different Israelite groups then? If this Israelite stuff is it, then why is there so many of them? Why are y'all divided? Why can't just everybody just come together? You know what I'm saying? That's what you start thinking, like, good night. Well, this thing need to be tightened up here. You know what I mean? What must be understood is that there is only one body. You understand? There's only one. You know what I mean? It ain't multiple bodies. You know what I mean? And what you have to understand is that you have to go directly to the source. What you have to do is the best thing to do is to bring it to the essence and find out, well, where did all these Israelite groups come? All of the Israelite groups that are currently out there right now, what you will find out is that the Israelite School of UPK is the main source as to where all of these other Israelite groups spring out of. You know what I mean? That's where they come from. They come from the ISUPK. So now you like, man, and our stance is that there is, like the Bible says, there is only one body. And they get mad at us because we say that. And they say, well, everybody's a part of a body, brother. But that is not the case. There is only one body. We just said, can two walk together if they be agreed? Meaning no. You know what I mean? We all have doctrinal differences. You got cats out there that think certain things are acceptable and certain things are biblically correct that are not. You know what I mean? And we stand on a certain position and we stand on a certain stance for things. And their stance is contrary to ours. So no, everyone is not a part of the body. You know what I mean? And anyone that says that clearly is letting you know that they do not have the truth and they are not the one body. You know what I mean? Of Christ on the earth. But we in the UPK, we always say we are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. And if it's not of the ISUPK under Commander General Yana, it's not of the Lord. You know what I mean? We say that because there is only one body. And we know it. And we are the one body of Christ on the earth. So we profess it. You know what I mean? That's why. So you got to check that thing out and understand that, you know what I mean? When you come in and you looking at all these other different cats and what have you, and you might like their style. You might like the way some cat dropping it. He might say it in a way that you like what he say. You know what I mean? He might say, oh, I like the way this cat, dropping his stuff. You know what I mean? I like the way he brings it out and and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I ain't no sweat. It is what it is, but it's not about what you like. It's about what the truth is. You understand? Don't get it twisted. Always keep it solid and keep it thorough with yourself. Anything that sound good ain't always the truth. More than likely, if something sounds too good, you know what I mean, it is too good to be true. You know what I mean? Meaning if it sounds good and nothing offends you, nothing at all. You know what I mean? Everyone can understand that the truth is something that does offend you. You know what I mean? If you go and you hear these Israelite cats that's talking, and you know what I mean, I'm not trying to down anybody or nothing like that either. But I'm just saying, I'm letting you know what I mean, this for brothers and sisters that's trying to come to the truth, that's trying to find it, and it's just so much going on out there that they don't understand what's going on and where to go to. Where should I go? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just listen to everybody. You know what I mean? You shouldn't listen to everybody because everybody doesn't know what they're talking about. You understand? That's the facts. Everyone doesn't know what they're talking about, regardless of how much you like them and what they say. You understand? Because the Christian pastor made us feel good too. The Christian pastor told us things that always made us feel good and it never hurt and things like that. But you know who doesn't do that? We don't do that. We tell the cold, hard truth all the time, and it hurts and it cuts to the soul, and it is what it is. And that's the way that it has to be. You understand? So, with that being said, let me see right quick, all right? Let's read 4 again. There is one body, all right, and one spirit. And you got to have one spirit, you know what I mean? We all got the same spirit, you know what I mean? Because we all stand on the same principles. We all stand on the same laws, you know what I mean? We all stand on the same doctrine, you know what I mean? We all adhere to the same doctrine. And because of that, you know what I mean? We have the same spirit. We had the spirit of the Most High. Okay, there's only one spirit that we supposed to be in, man. Everybody can't have a different vibe. You know what I mean? We all gotta have the same vibe. You come through, you see the brothers, and you gonna get the vibe. You understand? You gonna get the protocol. You gonna get your A out. You know what I'm saying? Do this with me right here, Bubba Shaw. If you could grab that. Woo. You know what I'm saying? We're about to roll up out of here. Let's get this thing solid. Let's hold it down. Let's make sure we got everything rolling like it need to be or what have you. And let's do the thing, all right? And Father of all, who is above all. Salakia, I skipped down, didn't I? Yep, I did. Salakia. Even as ye are called in one hope of your calling, one Lord. All right, one Lord. That one Lord, that's talking about Christ. You know what I'm saying? There's only one Lord. All right? One faith, you know what I mean? One faith, one belief system that we should all have, you know what I mean? And that should compel us to do the work, you know what I mean? And furthermore, there's only one place where you can do the work. You are not doing the work if you are outside of the body, you understand? Because you do not have the same belief system. So you cannot do the work if you are outside of the body. If you are not fully locked in, if you are not in the truth, if you're not in the UPK command, Yohana, then you are not doing the work. You understand? You might think you're doing the work and think you're doing something, but you're not doing the work. You know what I mean? So if you would like to be accredited for hitting them street corners or whatever extracurricular activity you engage in, then in order to receive that credit, you must be in the one body of Christ. All right. But we gonna get it straight up. Alright. One God. I mean, one power, alright? And Father of us all. One God and Father of us all. That's the Most High, Yahweh in the Hebrew. You know what I mean? There's one God and Father of us all. You understand? That's it. There's no multiple gods. There's no, you know. I know in that Egyptian mess, we think that there's, a god of the moon, a god of the sun, a god of the dirt, the god of the rain, a God of the wind and all of that. You know what I mean? And there's no God. There's only one God. There ain't no Holy Trinity or nothing like that. You think the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? What does it say right here? It's one God and Father of us all. Ain't no such thing as no goddamn Holy Trinity. You know what I mean? We could kick that to the curb, straight out the scriptures. I'm going to read it one more time for you. One God and Father of us all, who is above all. Who is above all. You know what I mean? Meaning there's no one that outranks the Most High. The Most High is the Most High. There's no authority greater than the Lord. All right? Let's read on. How was that with it? And through all, and in you all. All right? Everyone is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ. That's it. That's it on that. So, with that being said, with that being said, seeing we got like a dub left on that Joan, huh? Y'all bear with me. Got Ephesians 4:4. Okay. Alright, now we can go to Zechariah. Alright. So now we can go to Zechariah 9 and 13. Y'all roll with me. Come on, man. What's going on here? Oh, okay. It's a lot here. Zechariah 9 and 13. Okay. So now we know Judah is and all of that. We know Judah is and we know who Ephraim is and things of that nature, okay? So now that we know that, let's read this. Zechariah chapter 9 verse 13. Shalakia. Let's get it. When I have bent Judah for me. Right? So now once again, this is a prophecy the Most High that the Most High is giving here. Another biblical prophecy. When I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, right? Well, now the Lord is saying when He had bent Judah for him. Now we know Judah is who? We know Judah is, so-called blacks, West Indians, and Haitians, right? So He's saying when I have bent Judah for me, right? Filled the bow with Ephraim. Filled the bow with Ephraim, so the Ephraim is the arrows. You know what I'm saying? So filled the bow with Ephraim, right? So now Judah and Ephraim, you know what I mean? As you know, Ephraim is, the Hispanic and Native Indian tribes. So Judah and Ephraim coming together now, all right? But there's a certain way that we coming together. We coming together like a bow and arrow, right? What is a bow and arrow? A bow and arrow is a weapon. What do you use a bow and arrow for? You could, you know what I mean? The Native Indians used them bow and arrows to go to war. You know what I'm saying? You use to hunt or what have you, but you can go to war with a bow and arrow. You understand? You know what I mean? And then let me see. So this is how we would be united. So now you think about it now. Now we talked about how we would come together. We talked about how we would come together and what that would mean and what that would look like, right? And so now when we do that, now we start to see, you know what I mean? This is how the Lord views it. The Lord saying, when I have bent Judah for me and filled the bow with Ephraim, you know what I mean? He said, when I have filled the bow with Ephraim, you know what I mean? Salakia. And raised up, oh no, I don't want to read that. But like that's what it's like when we unite. You know what I mean? When we unite, it's like a weapon. You understand? It's equivalent to a weapon. When Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians unite, that is the absolute equivalent to a weapon. A weapon that is more lethal than a nuclear bomb. You understand? Our brotherhood is our nuclear capability against the enemy. You understand? We don't have no nuclear weapons or anything like that. You know what I mean? No physical joints. You know what I mean? You got the nations got nuclear weapons or what have you, but our nuclear weapon is brotherhood, and that nuclear weapon will be used. Slocky. Let me see. I'm jumping ahead of myself a little bit. Let's read on. Alright. 13. And raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece. Okay? And raised up thy sons against thy sons, O Greece. And made thee as the sword of a mighty man. You understand? Straight like that. Who is Greece? What is Greece synonymous with? Greece is synonymous with the white race. You know what I mean? So now, when we unify, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we're going to be united. The Most High intends to unite us like a weapon. And that weapon is going to be used to combat white supremacy. You understand? We are going to be a weapon that is absolutely forged against white supremacy. And once again, that weapon that we have is our brotherhood. That brotherhood is a weapon. You understand? In itself, and it's undeniable. Okay? So with that, let me see. And made thee as a sword of a mighty man. Is that it? And made thee as a sword of a mighty man. So right, this is spiritual warfare. You know what I mean? This is it. This is the spiritual warfare. You want to go against the enemy? You really want to do that? Well, that's just how you got to do it. You understand? It's exactly how you got to do it. You got to come together with your brothers, man. Lucky. You know what I mean? Good night. But that's how you do it. You come together with the brothers, and you know what I mean? When you do that, then you be solid. You know what I mean? We got about 12 more minutes. I might pull another scripture and just bust it down right fast. You know what I mean? Pull another John, bust it down right quick. Let's go to Romans 12 and 10. Salaki. Bear with me. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't understand. Romans 12 and 10 though. Let's get it. Romans 12 and 10. Alright, no sweat. Boom. Romans 12 and 10. Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another. You know what I mean? Be kindly affectionate toward one another. You know what I mean? It's lucky. Let me make sure that's what I wanted. Alright, no sweat. Actually, I'm gonna drop that. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, let me check the YouTube and all of that, man. I seen some stuff last time. You know what I mean? Some Yehudites, they was talking and stuff like that. So I want to make sure they ain't out here flapping gums. Because if he is, I'm going to cut you. Shalaki. Okay? Ain't none on the YouTube. I'm going to probably wrap it up after this. Alright? We got like 10 minutes left or what have you. Let me check on the book. Check that book out. Okay. Solid. Mm-hmm. No sweat. No sweat. Alright, so hey, that's pretty much it there. You know what I mean? Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Okay? So with that, you know what I mean? I'm gonna roll on y'all, man. I'm gonna have to do it. Okay? So with that, shalom. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Ragathum to the brothers. Yahweh Shemur Lathun Bahashim Yahushua to the sisters. Alright?
We are 50 days out from this election, and boy, we are stuck in an IDK WTF cycle. Meaning, so many of us are forced to say, I don't know, when it comes to what should be clear, because nothing makes sense. We seem confused and divided on the most rudimentary and basic things. How can this country seem to be in this state? Obvious things. Then a WTF happens that we believe can't be seen as anything but what it is, like a pandemic, or a cry for justice, or a big-ass fire, or storms that are more frequent or worse, and yet everything is in doubt. This president is driving this cycle. His latest WTF is his attack of science as a basis for understanding natural disasters.
It'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Well, I don't think science knows, actually.
I wish science agreed with you. I don't think science knows, was the President of the United States' answer. The problem is, his nonsense informs his action and inaction, both of which have left us more vulnerable than ever with this pandemic and with these disasters. But to be clear, this WTF with science must not create an IDK problem. Science is not a person. It is not a CNN anchor that Trump can just insult to get his base riled up. Science is knowledge. It is what we all look to for understanding. So, if science were a person, and it isn't, science would always know what it's talking about because science is the answer. No touching stoves. Why not? Fire burns skin. Science! Want that presidential pallor? That not quite found in nature nuanced look? Chemicals can color skin and hair. Science! His intention is clear. Add science to the list of things that should not be trusted as much as he is. But we, my brothers and sisters, must break the cycle. Murdering police? Wrong. Always. Period. Saying police are murdered by those you're looking to demonize without proof? Wrong. Justice should be fair and equal for all. Period. Saying there's no problem with justice in this country is wrong. And ignoring science is wrong. Hence, telling your supporters to do things that you know will increase their risk of getting a virus that you know is worse than you're telling them is wrong. And yet this president defies what all should